Hi guys, and happy new year. So I thought that I'd start 2020 off with a little Q&A. It's been a long time since I did a Q&A actually. There is one if you go way back towards when I first started this channel. But yeah, I haven't really done one in a while. So if you guys follow me over on Instagram, then you'll have seen that over the last couple of weeks, I've had a little story sticker for you guys to ask me questions, and there's a lot. So yeah, hopefully this video isn't too long. Before we get into it, I really just want to thank you guys for all the support you showed me in 2019. I did have a video that was meant to go out on New Year's Eve, and due to some issues, technical issues, I couldn't get it out. So this is my chance to say to you guys, thank you so much for all the support you showed me throughout the last year. 2019 has, for me, been the most fulfilling and transformative of my life, and a lot of things happened, a lot of things have changed, and I feel like all of it was for the better. I'm hoping that 2020 will be as good a year, if not better. I have things lined up this year that should make it the best year yet for me, the most transformative for sure. We'll get into that throughout the video, but yeah, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone that supported me, whether it's been through working with me, watching my videos, sharing my videos, following me on Instagram, commenting on my photos, you know, like everything that you guys, every support system that you guys put in place for me is really appreciated. So with that being said, let's get stuck into the questions. Where's my phone? So in fitting with the fact that it's a new year, the first question I'm going to answer is about what my goals for 2020. So this is something that I was actually asked a lot of times in different kind of ways. So yeah, 2020, like I said, this year should be a big one for me. I graduate, or I should hopefully graduate my degree around some time. For those of you that don't know, I study graphic design at the University of Salford. That's why I moved up to Manchester from London. That's why I'm here. And yeah, uni should be coming towards an end this year. So for me, that is definitely up there with one of my goals, is to graduate. But actually the list of my goals for 2020 is quite extensive. There's a lot of things that I have set myself in regards to personal development. A lot of things I want to learn this year, I want to get better at, including medium format and videography. If you guys have seen some of my videos before, then you'll know that medium format is something that I've just started getting into. But also I've got some like shallower goals, some statistical goals about how many like followers I want to reach and stuff. Things that really in the grand scheme of things don't matter, but they're good targets to set myself in terms of growing my Instagram, my YouTube, etc. this year. Also started teaching on Skillshare late last year. If you want to check out those classes and you have a Skillshare account, I will link them in the description below. But yeah, I want to grow that. Teaching on Skillshare is something that I'm really enjoying, but not really having enough time to get as much content out as I want. The same with YouTube. Majorly, the biggest goal that I have this year is that I'm going to take the leap from going kind of full-time to being properly full-time. So like I said, I am at uni at the moment. I quit my job. I worked in a park cafe when I was like 17, 18, kind of around that age. When I moved up north, I quit that job, and photography has been my only source of income since that. But I've had uni to kind of fall back on. As of May, that's it for me. I'm on my own. Hopefully it works out. I'm sure you guys will hear a lot of the trials and tribulations of me going full time over the next year. But yeah, that's the biggest goal for me really, is just to make sure that that's sustainable and works out for me. I've also set like a little schedule of things I want to do, like dedicate a day a week to creating content for YouTube so I can kind of grow this channel and make it something that I really think would be useful and insightful, and yeah, like see where it goes. Okay, let's get back to the questions. Do you see photography being your full-time career one day or just a side hustle? I think I've kind of just answered that one in that it's like my only job now, and as of May, hopefully that will be my career. Yeah, so let's hope that works out. When shooting, what gives you the energy to create the vision you want to achieve? So for me, the bit after you've shot, when you have edited and shot all the images and you look at what you've created, that for me is what kind of like inspires me to make stuff. It like being really proud of a project, that feeling is really indescribable sounds better, yeah. When I come away from a project and I don't have that feeling of satisfaction, that really gets me down. I know that I've not put enough effort into the project, or I've not had enough patience or enough focus within the project to really manifest what I want in my head. So I try to avoid that feeling at all costs. That kind of gives me the energy and the inspiration to kind of keep going and to create the content that I want to create, because I don't want to disappoint myself and I don't want to disappoint my clients. I want to create the best work that I can create at every given opportunity. How do you usually find clients, both for general shoots and wedding ones? So for me, social media has been pivotal in my career. I'd say 95% of my work through people DMing me on Instagram. The other 5% is from emails, and I don't know where they come from. I just randomly get some emails in my inbox every now and then. But yeah, I'd say the vast majority of what I get is just people DMing me, whether that's brands or models, etc., needing portfolio updates. It all kind of comes through Instagram. Apart from wedding and fashion photography, what other genres do you shoot or do you want to shoot? In terms of genres, whilst fashion is now kind of like my main go-to kind of thing, and I do weddings as well, I started out doing music photography. If you guys have followed me since like 2016, which is insane to say that that's like 4 years ago, but if you guys have followed me since then you'll know that a lot of what I did was music photography based, events, festivals, press shots, etc. I did a lot of that. I also do a bit of product photography now and then, more commercial kind of stuff that you don't see in my Instagram feed. Like recently I've done a lot of stuff with different drinks brands, Just UK, Hooch, Beviamo, Franklin & Sons, that kind of commercial work. Street photography is something that I really enjoy doing but don't really take enough time to do. Maybe that's something I'd want to do more of. In the evening, would you rather play a game, visit a relative, watch a movie, or read? I think probably visit a relative. Living so far away from my family, I kind of have started to appreciate the time that I spend with them a little bit more. Best advice to give yourself, you've booked 4 weddings next year and scared is an understatement. Congratulations on booking 4 weddings. In my first year, I booked 3 weddings and I was so scared. The pressure of doing a wedding, I'm sure any photographer can tell you, is quite high. But honestly, just make sure you're well prepared. I've got a video already up about preparing for a wedding. Make sure you know exactly what you're doing, where you need to be on the day, what the client wants from you, and then just try and enjoy it as much as you can. It is quite a high pressure situation, but if you can have fun with it as well, then you're gonna gel with the client more, you're gonna create content that is better. Would love to assist you sometime. Would you take on assistance, especially for weddings? Yeah, so I have a lot of people shadowing me on normal shoots. Anytime you guys wanna shadow me, let me know. Do a lot in London, do a lot in Manchester, and this coming year I'm hoping to do a lot more elsewhere in the country. As for weddings, again, if you want to assist me, just shoot me a DM. Always looking for people to help out. Nosy question, but do you charge for every single model shoot you do? I've kind of got to the point at the moment where most of what I do is paid, apart from passion projects. So for example, I am doing a project about Croydon at the moment. So obviously I'm not getting paid for that because that's my own personal project, but everything else you see on my Instagram is paid. I feel like passion projects is very much like a thing that you can do if you can afford to do it. At the moment, I'm not in a position where I can turn down paid work to allow for that many passion projects. So hopefully over the next year when I go completely full time, I'll have more time to do shoots that are just like for the sake of creativity and not for kind of a commercial basis. Would you ever consider doing more studio work? Yeah, studio work is actually something I want to do more of this year, mainly because my hands do not do too well in the cold and it's very cold in Manchester. So yeah, I definitely want to do a bit more studio work, especially over the winter months, just to keep like things ticking over. But yeah, I've not really experimented that much with it before. It's always been something I've done like very bare minimum in. So yeah, if I get a chance to learn a bit more, then yeah, I'll be doing more studio work. Do you always go through modelling agencies when shooting a model or via Instagram? So that kind of depends on whether or not I'm working for the modelling agency or if I'm working for the model. If models want their portfolio built and they're independent, then of course it's just through Instagram. If it's with an agency, usually they'll email me and then everything will be done through the agency and they'll send me the models through. I don't really do any work where I hire models. So I don't know if I can answer that question properly because I don't really do that. Most of the models, if I need to hire them for like a brand shoot or something, is done through people I know, Instagram, or models I've already shot with before. Do you give your clients a wedding contract to sign? Yes, I do. That is so important. Definitely always have a contract for, I'd say every shoot you do, but especially weddings. If you need some help, the person who asked me this with wedding contracts, then DM me because yeah, you should definitely be sending contracts to your clients. I keep getting creative block at the moment. What do you find is the best way to get inspo? Creative block can be a really difficult thing, same as burnout. And I think you have to kind of balance things a bit, take some time off, refresh yourself, remind yourself why you like what you're doing, consume other work, whether it's through photo books, Pinterest, etc. You know, like those kind of common ways of getting inspiration. Just go back to why you like photography and why you create the work that you create. And that should help you reset that little block again. How do you critique your own work, finding the best pictures to post? It's so hard. I don't know, that's not really something I've ever struggled with. I kind of just know what photos as I'm editing that I like best. And often that's really different to what other people like best. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'll often put like a carousel of images up and say like, drop me a comment, let me know what your favorite is. And I'm always so surprised that other people's favorites aren't the same as mine. But that's just a part of like art, I guess, and how subjective it is. I would just say, you know what makes a good photo in terms of technical things. If you think that it looks good technically, then just go for the one that feels the best for you. Do you mood board for every shoot that you do? Not every shoot. I try to mood board because I do feel like I end up with a stronger concept and the shoot ends up getting better if I do mood board, but sometimes I don't. How many edits do you tend to send to model agencies? I feel like I send too much. Modelling agencies, depends on the shoot again, how long we're shooting for. I don't really cap how many shots I send. I just go through them and I'll send all the ones that I think are good enough to send. I'm not really the kind of person that's like, you only get 25 images. I'll just, if there's 30 images that are good, then I'll send 30 images that are good. If there's 50 images that are good, then that's how many I'll send. How do you go about finding good locations? So I've actually done a short segment on finding locations on this channel before, but to kind of recap, you could location scout beforehand or use Google Maps or some sort of software like that to scour the kind of area that you are working in. What is the best photo you've taken? Okay, so this changes all the time for me. I always change my mind as to what photo I prefer, but this photo, which I will put up here, is currently my favourite photo that I've taken. The model was Kofi, and that was a campaign we did for an Indonesian streetwear brand called Skate Gear. Any money tips on being a freelancer? Being a freelancer, you definitely need to get to grips with your money. Budgeting, I would say. Making sure you know how much you can spend, making sure you're putting stuff aside for months where you might not have as much work, taking 20% deposits, and I like to put that 20% away, whether it's for savings or to cover your tax. I would definitely recommend budgeting, working out how much you spend every month, how much you need bare minimum, and then how much you can put away for a kind of like a rainy day, or if you're in Manchester, a rainy month. If you guys are interested, then I do plan to film a full video on the kind of the business side of freelancing and photography, including budgeting, money, softwares that I use. So let me know if that's something that you guys would be interested in. How do you manage to balance work, life and university and still stay sane? I don't stay sane, that's the answer really. I think really you just have to get good at time management, get good at knowing how long things are going to take you, when you're working, when you've got other things to do. So for me, I do most of my client meetings in the early evening when it gets a bit dark to shoot. So I do my like consultations and stuff then. See family and friends in the evening. As for balancing uni, I actually spoke about this in my last Q&A, but I think it's just kind of like prioritizing and making sure you know what you need, what needs to get done by when, what's a priority, etc. In my last Q&A, I actually spoke about if you've got like one module on a Monday, for example, at uni, then that evening you do the work for that module. And then if you're working on Tuesday, then you do your editing that Tuesday evening, and then you do the other module on the Wednesday, for example, and you kind of like dedicate each day to a specific thing. When I filmed that video, that was probably like a year ago. Since then, I've had a lot more work at uni and in work, and it's not been that easy. But yeah, I would definitely say prioritize what you're doing. What's the most awkward circumstance you've come across while shooting? I've not really had that many awkward moments, but quick plug, me and Andy McLean, a sick photographer from Sheffield, filmed a video a little while ago talking about photographer horror stories. So yeah, definitely check that one out. How do you improve as a photographer? Best tip, I'll say this every time, is just practice. Get to know your camera. I learn new things about my camera all the time, about different cameras that I'm using. And when you know how to use your camera at full capacity, when you really understand the technical stuff, then you can start getting creative with your concepts and you know that you can pull anything off. Any brands, people that you want to shoot? Oh, I'd love to do something like a big streetwear campaign or like sportswear campaign for like Nike or Adidas or something like that, or maybe like some covers, like magazine covers. Yeah, that kind of stuff. That would be sick. Favorite lens and why? I feel like I answer this question all the time and it never changes, but it's the 35mm Sigma. Absolutely love it. Use it for like kind of all of my work. I do have a few other lenses, but the 35 is my go-to. Would you say that photography is actually a sustainable career financially? I think it can be, definitely. You just have to work hard. You just have to really know what you're doing, work hard, market yourself well, budget. And then, yeah, I definitely think it can be a financially viable career. And then I've got like loads of those spam things. You know, those bots that have been on Instagram recently that's like, hi, at Sophia J. Carey, or great feed and stuff like that. That's like not really answering my questions. But yeah, that is it for now. If you've got any other questions, drop me them in the comments. We'll start a discussion, talk about some things. Welcome to 2020, and I can't wait to see what 2020 brings. So I hope you guys stick with me. Another big thank you, and thank you if you watched to the end of this video, because I'm looking at the time now and I've been talking for a long time. So yeah. And remember, you can follow me over on Instagram, where I am a little bit more active than YouTube. Hopefully this year I'm going to be able to get more content out to you guys, so drop me a comment and let me know what you guys want to see from me. But until then, enjoy the beginning of 2020, and I'll see you guys in the next one.